Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Wow, what an episode, right? Oh, Lord. Sometimes I sit there and I think before I even press record, I'm just like, how am I going to sit there and turn this mess into a somewhat cohesive review? And I don't know if I'm going to get it right today, but we're going to sit there and give it the old college try. We're going to talk about Sasha first. We're going to talk about Sasha because, okay. Sasha is pissed that her dirty laundry, her business is out there on Front Street because Drew, in this weird, pathetic way of trying to retaliate against Carly, decides to air out Sasha and Jason's business. And so Sasha's like, yo, listen, you want to sit there and torpedo your own life. That's cool. You do you with Willow. But do not sit there and bring me into whatever clusterfuck that you got going on. That's essentially what she sits there and says. What does she not say throughout this entire episode is that it's not true. Okay? That's what she doesn't say. And this is something that Donna and some other people in my comment section have sat there and said. Sasha, why don't you just sit there and tell people that's not the father of the child? I'm not saying who the father of the child is, but that's not the father of the child. So all you're doing is just really getting people into thinking that that's the father of your child. And so what do you think is going to wind up happening when Jason hears this and Jason comes and confronts you? You still think that that defensive kind of bitchy attitude is going to sit there and work with him? Because you done told him to sit there and stay away, leave me alone, don't bother me. But you're not putting out a fire that you know Jason's going to sit there and come up and be like, what's going on? I know that's going to wind up happening. And I'm just going to sit there and wind up shaking my head, rolling my eyes. I can already sit there and see it coming. But after that, she storms out. Tracy goes after her. And Tracy tracks her down at the Q's, at the Q's house. Not before she sits there and talks to Cody. Now, Cody, instead of just saying, listen, my bad, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to sit there and do that. The only thing he sits there and says is, so is it true? Is Jason the father of your child? And what do you think Sasha does? Does she confirm it or deny it? No, she's just like, it's none of your business, it's nobody's business. You're a crappy friend, pretty much. I mean, my whole thing is like, I get that you're upset that Cody's not there spiraling. He's going out there saying all these rumors that aren't true. Cool. While you're upset with him, you have every right to be upset with him. Why don't you take the time, take 5 seconds and just say, it's not true. But she doesn't do that, right? So Cody, he's like, oh, well, I'm spiraling out because I can't be with you anymore. And I'm sorry I'm not taking it well. I'm like, bro, go see a goddamn therapist then. Like you're basically saying, I'm having a bad day, so, sucks to be you pretty much. That's essentially what he just said. And he walks off. Like, you're going to be a great mom. What? Is that your version of an apology? I don't understand that. But he leaves. Tracy comes in. Tracy sits down, after she's about to leave, and she's like, hey, listen, I support you, and, I got your back pretty much. And, Sasha's like, what, you're not going to sit there and try to take my child? And she is like, no, I'm not going to do that. I only did that to Willow because of whatever acidine reason that still does not make sense to me. And it never will make sense to me. But she's just like, well, with you is going to be a lot different. Now, she tries to be all nice and supportive, and Sasha thanks her, but let's just be honest for a hot minute. When the truth actually comes out, she's going to be right back to where she was with Willow. Which, by the way, again, Tracy's all upset. about, Drew being on the property, and she pretty much was like, oh, I'm going to kick her out, and I'm going to take her kids. Of course you are. Of course, of course you are, Tracy, because, you, that's crackheaded at thinking, and of course you would sit there and do that. You would do something that's malicious, and let's just be very clear, illegal. And why does she get to do that? Because she's rich, and she uses her name, her family name, as a way to sit there and justify her doing things like that. I mean, Drew can't do that, but of course she can. So that's totally fine. When she does it. Now Carly continues to go off on Drew, and Drew's like, well, you pushed me to do it, and I'm like, that's not an excuse. I get that people get angry, they say things they don't mean. And he did sit there and regret that, but that's not an excuse just because Carly decided to air out your dirty laundry, right? So after she, continues to just do all that she's doing, eventually I think she winds up leaving, and Drew and Anna finished their conversation. And, Anna's like, it'd be ill advised for you to use your position to influence investigations and things of that nature, which is all true. But it's also just like, Anna, you have your own issues because you sat there and you shitted on Sunny, but yet you sit there and you call Jason every 5 seconds to sit there and clean up a mess or help you with something or whatever else. And I'm just like, he is also the local enforcer to the mob. So, you got your own priorities just a little kind of mixed up right there. So here's the thing about this whole Drew story, this whole Drew scenario. I've been doing reviews and on YouTube for about 6 years. Actually, 6 years, give or take. I have never seen a story that has been so toxic, that has driven some Jade fans into utter madness, right? And I gotta be honest, like, this is a reason, this is another reason why I just enjoy watching all four of the soaps, including, it's gonna be soon 5, and particularly Young and Restless. Because some people, I'm just gonna be honest, has absolutely lost their fucking minds. I don't mean people that disagree with Drew and don't like Drew and don't like some of the stuff that that Drew's doing, because I get that, right? But I mean people like, it's like, I don't know what's the point of making Drew to a level where it's like, it's just toxic, right? Like, I'm not enjoying it. And I don't know if it's the story that's making some people lose their shit, but I've seen it in my comment section where it's just like, oh, you are taking this shit way too serious. And maybe it was like that before. Maybe it was like that before I started doing YouTube and everything like that. I don't do message boards. I don't know what that stuff is like, but like, it's just insane, right? And I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the way that some people are just that they're taking it so seriously to a point where it's like they're going on Kim Madison's Instagram and just that they're saying all sorts of nasty, rude, and disgusting shit. Like, they can't separate reality from fiction. And like, that's the stuff where I'm just like, and I'm not going to reiterate some of the stuff that I was saying before, but some people, I can't. I can't. But he does sit there and go to Maxie. He asks her for, Maxie gives her opinion on the situation, but then she also does sit there and help Drew with a project as far as redecorating his house to, be more comfortable for Scout. From a mother's, daughter's perspective and stuff. So she does that. She doesn't like the stuff that Drew's doing. But I guess she doesn't sit there and judge him too much because, Maxie has done some stuff too. Right? And that's one of the things I can appreciate about Maxie. Maxie will sit there and give her opinion, but she won't go OD because she's done stuff too. And I'm glad that she's one of the people that could sit there and be like, yeah, Drew, what you doing? What you and Willow? Michael was cool with me. He's pretty much like family. But I'm not going to go too hard on you because I've done my own dirt. And she does sit there and help him out. Now, while Nina's over there talking to um, Willow about her experience and everything like that, Brooklyn comes over there. And Brooklyn wants to then try to calm Tracy down by sitting there explaining the rules and stuff like that. And she comes over there and she's like, hey, listen, you can't have Drew on the property. I don't think anything that she said was necessarily wrong. To some extent, she's like, hey, listen, you want to see Drew? Just don't do it here. Don't sit there and raise up a red flag. You know what I'm saying? Like, you came back here to certain conditions, and, this is part of the deal. And while Willow does have a point as far as, like, this is my house, and you're sitting there telling me who I can and can't see, this is insane. This, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sitting there trying to live by your goddamn rules at this point. To be fair, it is her house. It's not just Michael's house. It's also her house because they are married. The problem is, it's Monica's property, right? And the fact that Drew actually had to sit there and sneak into your house is already a problem. That's a red flag. That means that you shouldn't be doing that on that condition alone. And on some level, Nina's like, why don't you just sit there and just take a beat? You've been through a lot. It's the end of your marriage. You're going through it. Maybe you should sit there and just, even she does sit there and say, listen, I'm not saying you need to stop seeing Drew forever. Just take a minute to breathe. But Willow's like, at this point, she's like, no, I'm done. Because you heard what Tracy Smith is saying. I'm going to kick you out, and I'm going to sit there and keep your children. I'm sorry, did you just basically sit there and say that I'm going to keep you out, I'm going to kick you out, but I'm going to keep your children hostage from you? What person in their right mind is going to sit there and look at that and be like, you go, Tracy, you tell her. This is what I'm sitting there talking about. And I get that some people don't like Willow, what she did, because that was busted. But, you can't sit there and tell me that you're okay with somebody else keeping her children away from her. She could be a bad wife. It does not necessarily mean that she's being a bad mother. And that's illegal. So at this point, she's like, I'm done. And she decides to sit there and live with Nina. And Brooklyn's like, but this is part of the condition, and you made a deal. Fuck the deal. Seriously. I was going to sit there and say to myself, but no, fuck the deal. And she decides to leave. I'm not going to sit there and keep her prisoner and sit there and tell her what she can and can't do. And just, no. She's a grown-ass woman. She pays her taxes. You're not going to sit there and stuff. No, we're not doing that. So she leaves. She has to stay with Nina, and Nina agrees. The rest of this episode is kind of whatever. Jocelyn does manage to convince the super to sit there and look in Cyrus' room, and she finds a Bible, and I guess you're going to have to sit there and read the Bible to try to, I don't know, decipher what Cyrus is doing. So she did, but she left it there. Honestly, tell you the truth, I'm not going to lie, what did she actually accomplish? I'm sitting there thinking about, okay, she went in there, she couldn't find anything, she looked at the Bible, I don't know if she read the passages or whatever, but she didn't put the Bible back where it was because Cyrus got here. When Cyrus got back, Cyrus is pretty much like, the three bears. And we're like, I don't remember Cynthia leaving this here. Yeah, I don't remember actually leaving the thing like that. And he knows that somebody was there. Now, for some odd reason, and I do not understand this, Cyrus decides to sit there and take his dumb ass back to the hospital. Where Brad is waiting, and Brad's like, no, you can't be here. Like, I'm just sitting there delivering our packages. I'm like, I'm sorry, do you want to sit there and get arrested? This just seemed extra stupid and just so unnecessary. He wants to go back to, I'm like, don't they have a mercy hospital that he can sit there and go to? I mean, did he really just want to sit there and kill a bunch more people? Is that it? I don't get that. Anyway, Brad gives him an earful, and if looks can kill. Between that look that he gave Brad and the look that he had towards the end, I was like, God damn, this man just looks evil as shit. Lucas is pretty much telling Carly to stay away from from Jack. It's not just saying he's a dangerous man, he's going to lie to you. You don't want to sit there and be in another relationship like Sonny, where he has to lie to you and do things that's kind of underhanded. And, the thing is with Carly, when somebody sits there and tell Carly not to do something or to stay away from somebody, she won't do the exact opposite. Carly's going to be Carly. Just like Lucy's going to be Lucy. Oh, did you hear about the gossip and going up to Felicia and everything like that? And, to Anna, Anna's like, yeah, I'm just going to go and get a drink over there so I don't have to be around your annoying ass. Lucy going to be Lucy. But it's kind of funny though, because while she's sitting there gossiping and Tracy's like, yeah, this meeting's over. And everyone's sitting there looking at Lucy. Everyone's just like, Lucy, how are you? How old are you to be sitting there acting like, oh yeah, you're Lucy, never mind. Lulu does go up to Anna and is sitting there asking about where is Jack? I need to get in contact with Valentine and all this other stuff. It almost seems like somewhat of a waste of time. But once again, she's not there asking the questions. Oh yeah, Dante was here. God damn it, how many people was in this episode? Before Sasha was not there, before Sasha got there, um, Dante was not there telling Cody about how you can't be on the case because he's too close to the whole thing, and Sam being murdered and everything. And of course, Molly came over there to pick up Danny to sit there and tell him what up happening. So Molly and Cody have somewhat of a civil conversation. Meanwhile, Christina thinks this is a bad idea because she's like, if Danny finds out, he's going to be reckless. He's going to do something stupid. We need to sit there and actually wait until we find out who's actually the culprit. Even if you have to use Sunny to sit there and do it. But Alexis doesn't like the idea. And, Molly agrees. It's better for us to sit there and tell him before he finds out on his own. Because if he finds out on his own, he's going to do something reckless, or we don't know what he's going to do. So it's better just to be honest with him and just tell him the truth. And they do wind up getting him to the house, and I guess they get prepared to sit there and tell him what wound up happening to Sam. And then there is the Liz and Lucky and Rick scene. So they're, Lucky and Liz are sitting there listening to that sappy ass music, dancing and everything like that. And Rick comes over, with good news. Hey, listen, I was able to sit there and get your job back, They realized if they sat there and they tried to play a hardball, long story short, they were going to lose. So I pushed for it, and you're able to sit there and get reinstated. That's great, right? That's great. Even if Lucky doesn't like Rick for, pretty good reasons or whatever, hey, you know what? Listen, you did your thing. You got her job back. That's awesome. And instead of him doing that, he pretty much finds a way to sit there and rain on his parade by basically sitting there saying they only sat there and caved to you because, well, let's be honest, you're a horrible person and they didn't want to be around you, so they just said, F it. Let's just sit there and give her job back. And I'm kind of just like, Lucky, what did you sit there and do to sit there and get her job back faster? Wait, what did you do to sit there and speed up the process? Oh, you didn't do anything? Oh, okay, because, at this point, it just sounds like you're being a hater. I'm just saying, like, that does not seem like that's an attractive quality. That's all I'm going to say. But then Lucky does sit there and asks Rick if he can sit there and get any details on Cyrus's parole conditions. And he's like, listen, I'll even sit there and pay you. Rick is like, you can't afford me. But Liz asks, and at that point, Rick is like, oh yeah, no, sure, I can do it for you. You're Liz, so yeah, I got you. And long story short, Lucky's like, we're gonna have to frame him. You don't have to be a part of this, but we're gonna have to frame him. We gotta sit there and put him back behind bars no matter what. And Liz agrees. Now Cyrus already got framed once by Jordan and some other people, and he's already on the verge of sitting there snapping. So that happens at this point. I think that Jeff is going to go out in a bang because he is going to lose his shit if he gets some charges brought up against him for some stuff that he didn't do, which is insane to me because I'm just like, okay, yeah, I get it, but you did thing. kill a bunch of people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like before. It's like, yeah, you didn't do what Jordan and Taggart and other people said that you did, but you were still doing some illegal shit. So let's not sit there and try to act like you're some sort of choir boy. But yeah, he's going to lose his shit. He is going to lose his shit. Now I feel like that's pretty much about it. It's like, god damn. I remember my reviews used to actually be like 10 minutes long, 11, 12 max. Well, because General Hospital just wants to cram everything together, and I know Cat Lady loves her characters, but this is getting out of hand. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got. I will be doing a live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll be sitting there talking about all of the shows, of course. General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Born the Beautiful and Young and Restless. With that being said, I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next video, and hopefully live stream tonight.